This video is a continuation of a video I made 3 weeks ago, which is a continuation of 2 videos I made back in June. So go watch them right now before you watch this one. Or don't. You know, I'm just a YouTuber, not a cop. Ephraim. Gung Ho Charge. If Ephraim uses his full movement range before attacking, he gains +5 strength. I knew from the start that I wanted to make Ephraim's skill based off of his masculine urge to throw himself into danger recklessly, so I decided to give him a buff based on if he can pull off a full-on charge. The bonus strength is pretty high, but that's due to the fact that it isn't always easy, or frankly even possible, for Ephraim to move the full 5 or 7 spaces to attack. But I will admit this skill can probably lead to some pretty climactic boss battles if you position it right. Tana, Sociable Princess. Tana can spend her turn cheering on an ally, increasing a random stat by 4 until the end of the turn. Tana's one of those characters whose defining characteristic isn't some complex backstory, it's just that she's really nice. She can talk to anyone, from royalty to knights to mercenaries, so I decided to incorporate her friendly nature into her skill. Tana cheering her allies on is a fine idea, and the random stat buff can be really fun when it lands on the right stat. Or it could give Inez like 4 defense when he's attacking something that can't hit him back. Actually, knowing Fire Emblem RNG, it probably will do that. Amelia, Untapped Potential. Amelia's promotion gains are doubled. Amelia's an eager young lady who wants to prove herself to be a capable, true knight. Unfortunately for her, she's one of the worst units in the game. This buff is probably not enough to make her good, or even decent, but I do think it's a boost to make her more fun to the kind of player who uses her. Giving her Jack promotion gains is kind of reminiscent of Lachesis. Not that it's near that level, but it does give her a significant boost to the ones who like to use her. Inez, Prince's Pride. If Inez misses an attack, his next attack, if it connects, is a guaranteed critical. If he misses twice in a row, the stored crit is lost. Inez is one prideful prick, and one of his redeeming qualities is that he always owns up to his failures. So the idea with skill is that, after he has a misfire, he owns up and does better next time, not being the kind of man who fucks up multiple times due to his pride. Originally, I wanted to make a skill based on his sort of Timmy's dad and Dinkelberg-esque rivalry with Ephraim, but given that he's Erica route, such a skill would be useless for half the game, so I decided to drop it. Garrick, Beloved Leader. Garrick gives +15 hit and avoid to Tethys, Ewan, Marissa, and Saleh. Garrick's mercenaries are pretty famous around the world, to the point where even King Hayden of Frelia gives props to them. So I thought I would give Garrick a skill to highlight how well he leads his comrades, by giving them a boost when he's by their side. Now you might be wondering why Saleh is included. Well, both of the official arts we have of the Garrick mercenaries have him in it, so I'm just going to consider him an honorary member for the Garrick mercenaries. Tethys, Mature Allure. Dances for male allies also give them +2 strength and speed for 1 turn. With the exception of Ninian, dancers in Fire Emblem prior to Sacred Stones all tended to be girls. Fina, Lean, Sylvia, Laura, they were all young. Maybe not children, I don't think they really have a canon age, but they were definitely young. Tethys, meanwhile, is a mature woman, and she is damn confident in her appeal as such. Her charms on men are brought up in a fair few of her supports, so I decided to give her oomph a skill of its own. We're weaponizing sex appeal. Eat your heart out, Dragon Quest. Marissa, Crimson Flash. Marissa gains +30 crit when she initiates an attack on an enemy. The Crimson Flash is a badass name for a mercenary. Shame that Marissa is such a garbage unit. So I figured jacking up her crit to absurd levels would fit the concept of her ending battles in a flash. Is it enough to redeem her? No, probably not. But it is a huge boost, especially when she promotes and gets that sweet, sexy crit boost. Also, while I'm on the topic of Marissa, what color is her hair? I swear to God, every official art colors it different. Make up your mind, Intelligent Systems. Larachel, Divine Thrashing. Larachel can thwack enemies with her staff. This attack does a set 10 damage with an 80% hit rate. The damage and hit rate cannot be increased or decreased in any way, but the attack can double. From a unit standpoint, Larachel is just poorly designed. Let's make a unit that relies on her fantastic growth rates, throw her in at level 3 in the middle of the game unpromoted, and make her a healer, one of the slowest classes to gain XP. So I decided to try and fix that by giving her the ability to kill, thus allowing her to gain XP faster. Not only is her hitting shit with a big stick really funny, it's also in character, as she references swinging her staff and her support with Erica. So move over, Estelle Bright, there's a new staff-wielding lady in town. Dozla, Proud Sidekick. Dozla gains 15 crit if he is deployed with Larachel. Most people who talk to Larachel are overwhelmed, to say the least, but Dozla is perhaps the only man in all of Magvel who can keep up with her antics, so I decided to give him a buff, with the idea sorta being that he and Larachel are comfortable and used to fighting side by side with each other. Gameplay-wise, Dozla's biggest issue is his laughable speed stat, so a crit boost, combined with the Berserker's innate crit boost, has him saying, "Fuck doubling, I'm killing you in one shot." It might not always work, but I think it's a decent enough game plan to help him be a bit better. Saleh, Valega. Saleh can spend his turn meditating. Doing so will increase his magic and speed by 3 until the end of the next turn. Saleh is a wise sage, and he's shown to meditate in the middle of battle, as evidenced by his Erica support. So I decided that he would benefit from taking a moment to stop and clear his mind. The boost is pretty large, but the cost of him having to just straight up waste a turn doing nothing is a pretty high cost. And while you could do this for 2 enemy phases and have him buffed through those, throwing him into danger this way is not ideal given his lack of bulk, so I think it works out quite nicely. Ewan, Knowledge Sponge. Ewan gains 2.5 times experience whenever he kills an enemy. Okay, so it was hard to make Amelia and Larachel worth using without stopping to grind in the tower, but it is outright impossible to make Ewan worth using. So I'm not even gonna try. Instead, I'm giving him an XP buff that makes it easier for the people who do want to stop and use him to stop and use him. Ewan's a smart kid, whose studies end up making him rival the great legend Saleh, so his skill reflects his potential to learn. It won't make super pupil Ewan into the next Pent, but it should help him a little bit. Cormag, Thirst for Vengeance. Cormag gains a Slayer effect against enemy Wyvern Riders, as well as Gargoyles. Cormag is fucking pissed, so for his skill, I just had to make it about killing the ever-living fuck out of Volter. Wyvern enemies tend to be fairly strong, so giving Cormag the power to fuck him up makes an already strong unit stronger. And why does it work on Gargoyles? Well, as it stands, the skill would do nothing post-game, and Gargoyles can kinda be like dragons. I mean, they're both kinda lizard things with wings. Look, just don't ask too many questions. Rennac, Merchant's Heir. Items Rennac sells are worth 75% of their value instead of 50%. Rennac is a support unit. He was never made for combat, and we are not going to try to make him work for combat. Instead, I decided to draw on his backstory as the son of a Carcino merchant, making him a shrewd businessman who can barter his way into good deals. His existence can make the gems found in Lagdo ruins worth a ton of money, which can be used to help get stat boosters for all of your units. Or make specifically Fado into a god. I mean, it's your call. Dussel, Old Warhorse. Dussel gains +1 movement compared to other Great Knights. Dussel was kind of like Seth, where I really didn't have to do anything. Dussel is a powerhouse from the moment you get him to the end of the game, even if all of his growth rates read 0%. So I gave him an extra point of move. Since the Great Knights losing a point of move from Cavalier is often chastised, I gave Dussel a skill to reflect on his years of experience with cavalry combat. He probably knows how to handle a horse better than anyone in Magvel, or hell, anyone in Fire Emblem as a whole. Knoll, Ghastly Premonition. If Knoll is about to be hit by a critical, he has a 60% chance to dodge it. When you have 0 base luck, you tend to get crit a lot. So for Knoll, I figured I would help alleviate some of that risk that his luck entails, and incorporate the future vision stuff from his backstory. Granted, you can solve Knoll's issue with the Hoppling Guard, but no one ever hurt from having multiple options to avoid an issue. Also, I love the idea of Knoll looking into the future and seeing some berserker throw his axe into the air. Like, imagine how that would feel to see. Myrrh, timid child. Myrrh gains 15 avoid when she is being attacked. Myrrh is kinda a little shy, being tied for the lowest amount of supports in the game and all. Turns out when you view yourself as neither human nor monster, you don't converse with people very well. Anyways, her skill is built around her cowering when she is attacked. Given her timid nature, I think it makes sense. Though now that I think about it, it would be her in her dragon form cowering behind like a pillar or Ephraim or something, which is actually really funny to think about, honestly. Serene. Serene Grace. Allies within 3 spaces of Serene gain 5 hit, 3 crit, and 1 point of strength. First of all, yes, that skill name is a pun, and no, I am not sorry. Serene is a kind woman. Her supports with Gilliam have her admit to being a sort of mother to the people in the army, an approachable figure for them to talk to. So I decided to make her a cheerleader of sorts, encourage her allies in a sort of offensive version of Arter's skill. Being a buff bot isn't the worst job in the world, and while she's no Fate's rallyman, it will help her out quite nicely. And that wraps it all up. We've covered all of Sacred Stones' playable non-creature campaign characters, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, and tell me what game you want to see me do next. It was really fun doing this series, and I'll probably get back to the next one. And it probably won't take me 6 months. Probably.